Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm doing a complete meatloaf dinner with mashed potatoes and a Ninja Foodi with Smart Lid. Alright, I'm starting on a large bowl. I have roughly 2 pounds of ground beef. We're going to put together the meatloaf first. I'm going to start by cracking 1 egg. And then I'm going to add in my seasonings. I'm going to add in some Italian seasoning. There isn't much left in this container. That's probably about a healthy teaspoon. That's good for that. I'm going to add in some salt. I'm going to add in about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of salt. Salt's what really flavors your food. I'm going to add in some pepper. About a half a teaspoon of pepper. And I'm keeping my seasonings rather simple. I'm not going to go overboard. I'm going to add in some pre-diced garlic. Let me grab a fork here. I'm going to put in a healthy, about a tablespoon. If you use fresh garlic, about 2 cloves diced up. I'm going to add in 1 onion that I diced up. And guys, if you can smell this garlic right now, I don't think I have to worry about vampires for a while. And I'm going to add in some Italian seasoned breadcrumb. That's a little under 1/4 of a cup. I have another container. And I'm going to tend to add in a little extra because I can't see you guys how many times I was making meatballs, meatloaf, whatever, and you add the breadcrumb and your hands are all dirty and you need more breadcrumbs. So you got to go wash your hands and do all that mess. So I'm going to get in here and I'm going to mix this all together. Alright, now that my meatloaf's all mixed up, I have a piece of foil here. It's probably about 2 feet long, a little over. I doubled it in half to make it more sturdy. I'm going to spray it down with a little canola oil. It's going to help keep our meatloaf from sticking to the foil as it cooks. And I'm going to get my meatloaf. We're going to put it in the foil. And I'm going to form it into a meatloaf. And I'm going to try to get it as even as possible so one half doesn't cook quicker than the other. Alright, that's looking pretty good. I'm going to take my foil and I'm going to wrap the meatloaf up. And you want to make sure you wrap it good because this isn't super lean ground beef and it may put off some oil, fat, and I don't want that to cook into our potatoes. Right, I'm going to leave a little opening in the top for venting. Now I'm going to set that aside for now and get my potatoes ready. Alright, I cut roughly about 3 pounds of potatoes into big chunks because these have to go for 25 minutes in here and we don't want them to turn to mush even though they're going to be mashed potatoes. So I'm going to add some water in here. I'm going to add in 2 cups of water and I'm going to add in a little bit of salt because I don't know about you guys, but mashed potatoes aren't as good if you add the salt after they're done cooking as if you add the salt while they're cooking. I think they're just better that way. Alright. Now I'm going to take my rack that came with the Ninja and I'm going to sit it down in here and I got to move my potatoes aside so I can get it down in there. Alright. I didn't think this out very well when I made this rack. They're down in the pot. One last potato to go, guys. Alright, it's in. Now I'm going to take my meatloaf. I'm going to sit it in there, and I'm going to close my lid down. Alright, now that I have my meatloaf and potatoes in the Ninja, I'm going to turn this on. And I'm going to decide to select it from the air fry all the way over to pressure cook. It's already on high pressure. I'm going to set my time. Okay, it wants me to confirm that. I'm going to set my time to 25 minutes. Now after this is done pressure cooking, I'll do a quick release of the pressure. Alright, while my meatloaf pressure cooks with the potatoes, I made a little bowl out of some foil. I'm going to take some frozen corn. I'm going to get it down in here. And it's going to be for 4 servings. That's probably about 12 ounces of frozen corn. Now I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper in there. And I washed that bowl that I mixed the meatloaf in because I'm going to use that to mash my potatoes in. And I'm going to put some butter in here. I'm putting probably about 2 tablespoons of butter in here. I like my corn really buttery. And when it's time to pull the potatoes out, we'll put the corn in with the meatloaf. Alright, I released my pressure after the time was up. I took the meatloaf out and I drained off the excess grease. You can see all the grease that came off of that. I turned my rack upside down so it's on a lower setting. I put my meatloaf back in and my corn in there on the rack. Now I'm going to put some ketchup on my meatloaf. You can put anything you like on your meatloaf. Chili sauce, tomato soup, whatever you like. Barbecue sauce. I'm just taking the easy way out and using some good old ketchup. And I'm just going to smear this around on the meatloaf. And there's a little bit of water left in the pan on the bottom, but that's not going to hurt nothing. That'll just help make things steamy in there. Alright, I'm going to close my lid down. Alright, I'm going to turn my Ninja on. And we are set at air fry stovetop. That's what we want. I'm going to go down to broil. I'm going to leave it at 450. And I'm going to leave it at 10 minutes. After 5 minutes, I'm going to go in and stir the corn and make sure everything's cooking along nicely and not burning. Alright guys, this only took 8 minutes instead of 10. You can see how nice and browned up my meatloaf is. I went and stirred the corn after 5 minutes. And while this was all cooking, I went ahead and mashed my potatoes. This is ready to go. Let's go ahead and fix up the plate and see what we got. Went ahead and garnished my mashed potatoes with a little bit of parsley for color. Look at how nice that meatloaf is, guys. Let me get in here and give this a try. Moist, well seasoned. That's really good, guys. You're guaranteed not to have dry meatloaf in a pressure cooker. I'll try some of these potatoes. Fluffy, buttery, well seasoned. And finally the corn. Buttery, delicious as everything else is. Guys, that was really easy. One pot cooking, really delicious. Alright, there you have it. A complete meatloaf dinner with mashed potatoes in a Ninja Foodi Smart Lid. Thanks for watching, and remember, love what you eat and eat what you love.